And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Podcast. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Got a special guest today, Mr. David DeArmond from STRIX, Louisiana. They are an IT company. We appreciate you joining us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are talking today with your technology superheroes, so it's going to be an exciting time. We're going to let you know how they can help you stay safe and be your superhero. Not all heroes wear capes. So first and foremost, David, appreciate you joining us. Thanks again for taking the time. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, just how you kind of got into this, a little background. We'll start with the family. We'll get into your background in IT.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I'm from the area. I grew up in Santa Ma, which is across the river there, but grew up in Santa Ma, graduated from Santa Ma. Spent a little bit of time at New Mexico Military Institute right after high school.
Okay.
But came back home to LSU, was in Air Force ROTC, and graduated there. I am currently married and with 3 little girls, so I stay very busy. And we live in Central now.
Okay.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your IT background real quick.
Yeah, well, I got into IT somewhat accidentally, I guess. I grew up always enjoying computers, working on them, doing little programs, the Commodore 64 and that sort of thing from back in the day. But when I went to LSU, I was in Air Force ROTC, and they had a scholarship available for me. It was in Russian area studies, and I needed a scholarship. So I took that scholarship. I graduated from LSU with a Russian area studies degree.
Okay.
Now, as you know, all Russians are hackers. No, that's not. I ended up getting discharged from the Air Force just before being commissioned for asthma, and so I needed a job.
Okay.
And I had an opportunity that was presented to me, somebody that was a friend of the family, that they needed some help in IT. I'd always loved the computer world anyway, so I took that job, and that's when I really fell in love with building IT systems. So beyond just working on a computer, just building the system for a small business, that's what got me excited, is when I took that job.
Tell us about that job, because I mean, it just sounds like, it just fell in your lap, and it was a good fit, considering what you had been or what you had enjoyed before that. So tell us a little bit about what was a day on the job like?
Well, the first few days were pretty exciting. They were brand new to me. I had tinkered with computers, but I had never just jumped into them. So I would get to work, and there's something wrong with the computer, and we're taking it apart, and we're moving jumpers around and figuring out how to make this piece of equipment work like it's supposed to work. Then I got more into taking the numbers. So the company that I was working for was a third party administrator. They handled commercial auto claims.
Okay.
And with insurance, with claims, it's a bunch of numbers. And we were IT. There were 2 of us. We were IT. We had to take those numbers, make them make sense. Make sure that what we thought they were supposed to be was what the computer was actually giving us. Make sure that everybody had the ability to enter the information that needed to be entered, and that we could send it to our clients, and so they can make actionable decisions based off of the information that we're providing them. And that's where it got really exciting, because you're analyzing everything, and you've got to check yourself, and you realize sometimes I learned a ton from the owner of the company. I would run him a report, and he would look at it. I'd spend 3 hours working on this report, gathering all the data. He would take one look at it. No, that's wrong.
No.
and it's because he understood the data, and so as I got into it, I got to understand how does information affect a business, and how do you take that information, make better business decisions, make a better business in general. So yeah, that's what every day was either fixing some hardware, software problem, or trying to make sure that the data is giving us exactly what we're looking for.
So to kind of ask you a question about what you were describing as your job in IT, it's interesting, because when you think of freelancers and third-party service organizations and that kind of thing, or businesses, a lot of times it's just sort of things you needed from the outside. But IT is very personal and it's very much involved in the business. So when you were describing as being part of, that insurance company and helping them out, you were also part of their process. Describe, what that's like from your point of view.
Yeah, it's a real distinction, and it's a distinction that you have to find as an IT company, and it's something that will separate maybe a good IT company from a average IT company, because the average IT company is going to think, I'm here to fix a computer problem. And that's not the way that we approach things, because in my opinion, that's not what IT is. IT is here to fix a business problem.
Right.
And so we consider our clients, they're partners. They consider us partners because we know everything about them. We have access to all of their data. They have to trust us greatly. This is their livelihood that they're trusting with us, and we have to be good stewards of that. And we have to pay very close attention. Make sure that the things we do, the things we suggest, is that good for them? Is that going to promote their business, make them a better business tomorrow than what they are today? And that's you have those IT companies that take that approach, and they help build their clients. And that's really what we're looking to do.
Right, because you have a vested interest in your client's growth. More IT work means more money, but it also means you're successful in what you do. So let's take, we've got passion on one end. It's something that you've done for a while. You've got this belief in good stewardship with your clients and their data, which is very important. And you're putting them together. What came after that first job when you're pulling both of those things together?
Yeah, so like I said, I really enjoyed the informational part of it, and so I really gravitated toward software development, and I built a new claim system for that company so that we could better manage claims from the system that we had. So my next step was to a software development company, and I spent a year working for that company, doing the business analysis, understanding how does all of this work, and what are you trying to do as a business? What puzzle pieces do you have, and how are you trying to fit them together? What does the big picture look like, and how can we create a piece of software that is going to make that so much easier, and it's going to make the lives of your employees so much better, because it just flows and it gives you the information, and it just moves from one process to the next very naturally. So I got the opportunity to work at a software development firm doing just that. And I did that for a year before the TPA called me back and said, look, we need you back. We've got to have you back. And I said, okay, I'll come back, but it's with the agreement that I get to work part-time on my own business. Because the whole time I started working other jobs, just moonlighting at night, developing database applications. And so they gave me the opportunity. They said, okay, you can come back, work here as an employee, 32 hours a week, and you can have the rest of your time to go pursue your other interests.
So let's back up a second here, because as you're working from that jump from your first job into the software development company, that's based on what you said here, that was very clearly part of a pathway to your own business. Let's back up a second. What was your mindset as you're working in that first job, saying, you said you liked it, but what was the mindset about, saying you like it and then saying, I want my own business? Those are usually good to have together, but they're two totally separate decisions. So tell us a little bit about the decision of, I want my own software development company.
Yeah, well, it's when you start looking at things, and as an employee of a business, you are making something happen for the owner of that business. And it's up to them to decide, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? If you have certain ideas, you can bring them to the table, but it's up to that business owner, or what are they actually going to do? And I love that feeling. I love that feeling of, what, I see a direction here, and maybe not everybody sees it yet, but I see a direction that we can go, that we need to go. And it took some time of seeing those directions and the owner saying, no, we don't need to do that. And then seeing, well, that would have been the best decision. And I started gaining some confidence there that, I am seeing the big picture here. And until I am free to to pursue that other direction, I'm not going to be fulfilled. And so that's what led to that move. That client or that employer of mine became my first client.
Oh, okay.
Because after we spent a little bit of time working where I was an employee, but doing the moonlighting thing, eventually I said, look, the moonlighting thing is growing. It's doing better. I have more people asking, why don't I just take you on as a client? I'll do the moonlighting thing full time. I'll open up STRIX, Louisiana. You guys will be my first client. And I worked with them for 20 years total. And it wasn't until the owner actually passed away just a couple of years ago and the business shut down that I wasn't working with them. So I never left them because I still loved the work and the things that we built there. I still loved it, but I wanted to expand it. I wanted to do more. And the only way to do that was to open my own business, to get out there and see how far can we go with this.
Right. So it was always there, right? That participation with the client. So it's all, it was a very symbiotic relationship, just changed a little bit, right? So, you've talked about it. You said, I opened STRIX, Louisiana. Let's talk about day one. And I don't necessarily mean day one as in moonlighting. I mean, day one, you've talked with your former employer. You've said, this is growing. I'm thinking about doing it full time. You've had discussions, and now you are David DeArmond, STRIX, Louisiana, and that's it. What's day one like for you?
Day one was a little bit like day -1 because again, these people were my first client. Right. So I still had a lot to do for them. Day one, I guess it was October 26, 2008 was day one. And there was a certain freedom, a certain weight and excitement on day one. The mechanics of the day weren't too much different. I do remember one thing that just it felt awesome. I bought my first business computer. It was my computer that I bought, and it was a decked out Dell, a big old boy, and it had some power to it, and it was so exciting to trick out a computer and know that I wasn't worried about does the boss say it's okay? Well, yeah, the boss says it's okay because I said it's okay. It's so right. So the only difference was really that feeling, the mechanics, because I took much of the same work that I was already doing. I just changed the legal structure behind that work. So the mechanics didn't change a whole lot. The feeling changed a whole lot.
Okay. So, I want you to expound on that a little bit, because there's a mindset there. I want you to focus on that individual time when you bought that computer and then you had that sort of internal board member discussion. Is the boss okay with this? Yeah, the boss is okay with this. I'm the boss. What was that feeling like?
It was exciting. It was exciting. It was fun because I go online and I start looking at, okay, well, what kind of machine do I want? And so there's not much beyond just the excitement, the anticipation, the feeling of we're about to do some things. It's that anticipation, I guess, the excitement and anticipation. Those are the two words that I would pick.
Okay, so tell me. And here's a curveball for you. All right. Excitement and anticipation going forward. But business comes with pitfalls. What was your first pitfall like, and how did you work through it?
So the software development company that I went to, they remained a client as well. So they were one of the people that I was moonlighting with. We were working on a project, and it went bad. The project just... there were many factors that went into this project. Just went downhill. It was a fairly large software development package. They didn't have any money to pay me, so I had about a $25,000 outstanding invoice to them. That was what I was going to use to pay my taxes for that year of business, because I'm trying to take my money and grow and invest it into certain things, make sure that we can progress as a company. So I knew this money was coming at some point, right? So I'll just use that money to pay my taxes at the end of the year. And then I find out, well, that money's not coming.
Right.
That money's not coming. So I found myself in a hole very quickly. It wasn't the first partial year. It was the first full year of STRIX Louisiana. And all of a sudden I've got a large tax bill and I've got to figure out how to pay for it. And so that was tough. And I learned an extremely important lesson that money owed is not money in the bank. You don't know if someone is actually going to pay you or not.
Yeah.
So until that money is in the bank, you don't count it. And you make sure that all of your obligations are covered from the money in the bank, not what you hope to get down the line. So that was tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that was actually going to be my next question is what is the lesson learned that you brought forward? So you answered that. Obviously, money owed is not necessarily money in the bank. Because, I mean, there are a variety of reasons why money may not show up. You talked about it. The business you had dealt with for 20 years suddenly went out of business. Right. The owner died and, maybe heirs didn't want it. There weren't, who knows? So taking that lesson forward, talk to us about STRIX Louisiana today.
Yeah. So today we've had to change our focus. So originally STRIX was a lot about business analysis. Then we learned that what the small business market really needed was someone to help them build a stable infrastructure. So we went that direction and we started building very stable infrastructures, IT infrastructures that work extremely well. But over the last 2 years, the biggest threat to the stability of an infrastructure has become cybersecurity. It's the cyber criminals out there that have shifted their focus from the big guys, where they would go after, the Coca-Colas, the big companies out there, and they started shifting, and it became easier and easier to target small businesses, and small businesses were putting more and more information onto servers, onto computers, onto cloud services. And so now all of a sudden there's a treasure trove. Well, small businesses don't have a ton of money to invest in cybersecurity.
Right.
And so they became easy pickings. And so what we started seeing is if a client of ours was going to have a significant problem, it was going to be from some sort of cyber attack. And so we said, okay, well, we've got to gear up on this, and we've got to make sure that these infrastructures that we build are prepared to handle these threats, because if they're not, the infrastructure won't be stable. It's not going to stay up. Somebody will shut it down for you.
Right. So when you're thinking through that, you're obviously having to take some of the hard lessons from the past, but you're also looking to take that anticipation and excitement into something new. So tell us about, what have you built? Like, when you're talking about a customer, the perfect customer for you, what have you built to solve their problem of cybersecurity?
Yeah, there are two answers to that. Okay. So the traditional answer, and what I would have given you just a year ago, is we are looking for a company that has 20 to 50 employees working for them.
Okay.
And because they've accumulated enough information, enough data that they're valuable. Mm-hmm. They also are at a point in their company where they need some help from IT. It's gotten beyond the point that their nephew can handle it. And so they need someone to step in to protect them, to give them the information on how to protect themselves. So that was the traditional answer. 20 to 50 employees. That's who we're looking for.
Okay.
It's changed though. The target has continued to go after smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller businesses. And so what we figured out is we need to get somewhat ahead of that curve. Mm-hmm. And we need to create something that a business that has 1 employee or 5 employees, those micro businesses is what we generally call them, that they have some sort of protection that's not at the expense of what we would normally do for a 20-person company. Because for a 20-person company, that's much more expensive. Okay. So how do we create something for the 5-person business that can still protect them and not break their bank.
Right.
And it was a challenge that within our industry, I had conversations with colleagues all over the nation, and they're trying different things. And what do we do about this? It was a known problem, but it's difficult because how do you build a good infrastructure for a cost that a 5-person company can sustain? And so that's what we've done. So I said there's 2 answers. We do a tremendous job with those 20 to 50 employees. We will make those systems run beautifully. They'll be protected. You have a problem, you call us, we're going to be there. You mentioned the tech superheroes. That's what we get to feel like many times, because somebody's having a really bad day. Things aren't working and we get to jump in there. We've got things built so that we can fix it quickly. But the second answer now is those small businesses and the shield products that we have created to shield them from the cyber threats so that they're not just easy targets.
Right. So excuse me, you answered the question. Would you call it the shield suite?
Yeah. We have 6 different shields, okay. And that's what we call them.
Okay, before we get into those individually, because those sound like high demand items. When you're thinking about the 20 to 50 person business, and then you're thinking about the small business, do you think that the onus is switched to that small business because of financial reasons? They still have financial reasons to be shut down, but at the same time, maybe not, as you said, the kind of financial ability to protect themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, it's always been the onus of the company to make sure that their information is safeguarded. And so I don't know if that's what you're talking there with that question.
I think what I was asking, to be more specific, do you think that people would be targeting these smaller businesses because they still have information that's valuable, but they don't have the same revenue streams and ability to financially have the expense to protect themselves like a 20 to 50 person business would?
Yeah. And so, like I said, we wanted to get ahead of the curve, and that's where we see it headed. Okay. So if you look at something like ransomware, a lot of people have heard about ransomware. It's been in the news. You hear it targeting municipalities pretty often. Louisiana's been hit. The school systems has been hit. The New Orleans was hit, and that's just in the last year.
Right.
Okay. Small businesses are getting hit with ransomware as well, and what you see is these guys are smart. The criminals are smart. They will target your company. They'll get in. They'll see how much can you afford reasonably that you will pay, and they find that market point, and they say, I don't care that you're only 5 employees. I know you're willing to pay $2,000 to get this back.
Yep.
And they can blast it out. They can go hit 1,000 different companies like that. And if they get $2,000 from half of those, from 500, they've got a pretty good payday right there.
Right.
So that's what they've done. They've decreased the amount of the ransom, and they're going after smaller clients. And they find that place in the market where the business owner is willing to pay to get their data back. So it's the market.
Right. And they're attacking the market. So when you're talking about individuals and businesses being able to protect their market and their information, you said you had 6 shields for smaller business. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so the first shield we call the computer shield. Okay, and so that protects obviously your computer. It's a few services that we put on there to make sure that the computer stays up to date, to make sure the health of the computer is good, and to provide what's called endpoint protection. Now, our endpoint protection, a lot of people will think antivirus when they hear endpoint protection. We go a little bit beyond that. It's very advanced. It watches more things than a typical antivirus will watch, and it's going to see behaviors. It's going to catch something called fileless malware. So malware is just bad software.
Sure.
That it has malicious intent. And again, the criminals are smart, and they've come up with ways. It's not even a file that they put on your computer. And an antivirus is typically looking for files. Right. Well, this isn't a file. It's completely fileless, and they're able to get it in, make your computer do things that encrypt all of your data, that sort of thing. So we have a very advanced endpoint protection in place that's going to catch that sort of thing. So that's the computer shield.
Okay.
We have our mailbox shield. That's the next most important thing to take care of. Your business email is so highly targeted. It is unbelievable. If you were to look at logs at how often your business email is targeted, phishing schemes are the biggest thing that you're going to see. Mm-hmm. And phishing schemes are where someone is trying to get information from you. They're trying to trick you into giving that information freely. They want to pretend that they are your email provider, or they want to pretend they're your bank, and they want you to type in your username and password. And there are a lot of indicators, and there's software out there, and that's part of what the mailbox shield is to detect those sorts of emails and to help you see them and to train you on how to recognize them when they come in, because that's the weakest point of any cybersecurity is the end user.
Sure.
Them making a mistake. The other thing the mailbox shield does is it backs up all of your email. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, Microsoft, Google, if you read those pages and pages and pages of terms of service, you will see that they may mess up, they may lose all your data, and if they do, so sorry.
Right.
So we also provide a third-party backup for all of your email, all of your OneDrive or Google Drive documents, all of those things that are important to you that if you lost them, it would be a very bad day for you. So that's our mailbox shield. That's two of them. We have our network shield, which is a web, an internet gateway. It watches all the traffic going between your network and the internet, and it helps protect you there. And we can build out an entire network with that. And so that's why we call it the network shield, because we have visibility into your network and protection for your entire network. We have our company shield. Okay. Which is fairly new, not the newest, but fairly new. And that's where we're watching the outside world for things that are showing up that are indicators that you've been hacked in some way. Okay. Or that you have the potential to be hacked. You're leaving doors open. So that's our company shield, and we're watching several things there. We have our website shield. A lot of people don't realize the number of vulnerabilities that exist on their website. So that's another one. And I think I left out the user shield, which protects you more as an individual. We provide a password manager for that. Most people use the same password over and over. And so if a hacker gets one password, they've got them all. All of the services say you need a unique password and it needs to be very complex. Well, you can't remember all of that. So we have a password manager that's built into the user shield with a couple of other services to protect more you as an individual. So I think that was all 6.
Yeah, that was 6. That was in fact 6. So if anybody is watching and they are interested in any of those and they are a small business or the 20 to 50 person, how do they get in touch with you?
The easiest way is to call us, because it generally, we need some sort of conversation. So you can reach us at 225-361-2985. Okay. That's our main line. You can also reach us at our website, and you can go on the website. There's a contact us form. You can fill it out. It will get sent to us. We'll call you back. Either of those ways. We are on Facebook, so you can check out what's going on there. STRIX Louisiana, if you search that in YouTube, we have a new YouTube channel. Okay. So I don't know how many people have seen it yet. The Chill with Jim episodes. Yeah. Jim is our client advocate, we call him. He's the one that makes sure that our clients are being taken care of, and he has a session every week where we talk about some sort of technology or business topic. We post all of those on YouTube. You can subscribe to those. There's some great conversation, some great content in there. That'll help you maybe test the waters. If you're not ready to call us, I don't know, because like I said, it is a little bit like getting married. We do get high visibility into your data. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a little bit, let me test the waters a little bit, go to YouTube, look, see some of the things that we're doing, and then maybe give us a call.
Well, once again, David, we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for giving us an idea of what your business does. And we appreciate you letting us know about the Chill with Jim sessions. I've just about caught up. I've enjoyed them during COVID-19. It is something fun to watch. Anything you'd like to leave the viewers with before we check out of here?
Yeah, just don't be complacent. That's what we're seeing in the cybersecurity world, is a great deal of complacency. You need to do something, and if you want to just have a conversation with us, we'll talk to you. We don't have to sell you something, but don't be complacent. Don't leave your doors wide open for someone to walk in and steal your stuff, because if it's your business, you're working hard. Right. To build that business. And there's just, we don't want someone walking in and just taking that away.
Well, and again, like you said, there's a passion there. There's an anticipation. Y'all are trying to stay ahead of the curves. Get involved with these businesses. Keep them protected, especially as we're in 2020 now. Everything is done over the internet. I mean, not necessarily everything, but when it comes to your business, you are exposed. So again, David, thank you for joining us. We appreciate STRIX Louisiana, your technology superheroes, joining us today. If you are interested in what David had to say, please remember, phone number at about 28 minutes of the show. You can check that out, get an idea of how to get in touch with them. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Livingston Parish News Podcast. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. We are also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have a podcast page where you can check these out. We have audio and video versions for you to watch, and they are free. We do hope you guys have a safe 4th of July, and we will check you next time.